Emerald Isle, North Carolina is a town located on Bogue Banks Island in the southernmost part of the Outer Banks. We stayed here because there was a campground that was part of our membership, and we stayed very economically for 2 weeks. We adored this area, and here's why. Emerald Isle is not very touristy because of its lack of hotels. There are plenty of places to stay, and there are many home rentals, but there are no high-rise hotels, and it's because most of it is residential. Keeping that in mind, the beach parking there is pretty minimal if you go there to do any beach combing. I did most of my shelling at the south tip of the island, and I parked in the only public lot, which maybe only has about 20 spots, and there's no street parking allowed in that southern area. There is a fishing pier where there is parking, but it is a good 2 to 3 miles farther up the coast. I did go there one day and didn't seem to really find any shells up that way. It turns out we made some new friends there, and they offered to let us park at their home, but we actually didn't need to do that. Since we no longer have our camper, we will look for a home rental when we return, and we definitely plan to return in the future. In this video, I'll be showing you the amazing shelling here, and also if you're interested in the area, stick around for a few scenes from our visit to Fort Macon and the sweet little town of Beaufort, where we discovered a teeny little local cemetery with a big history. Hey treasure finders, today I am on Emerald Isle in North Carolina. Emerald Isle is about 20 miles from Jacksonville, North Carolina, and I was out here the other day and there was a lot of shells here. Absolutely beautiful area, beautiful beach, and I'm here at low tide. It's the middle of the day. Unfortunately, the low tides right now are not in the morning, they're in the middle of the day. So chances of getting, the best shells probably already passed, but I don't know because high tide is not the best time to go shelling. I'm gonna gather some shells today for some craft projects that I have in mind, but I'm also gonna see what else there is. The state shell for North Carolina is the Scotch bonnet, so I have a Scotch bonnet on my radar to find. I found a couple of pieces of Scotch bonnets the other day, but of course they're broken. But let's see. Oh, it's just beautiful here, and the shells are so unique, and again they're these dark tumbled type shells, as you can see right. This car, you can drive on the beach here, but you have to have a special permit to drive on the beach. So not a lot of people do it, but we had some friends that took us out in their Jeep last night, and it was really fun to drive down the beach. So let's see, I'm not seeing as many shells as I saw the other day right now, but we'll see. Right now I'm going to check out the low tide shells. Don't know if you can hear me because it is really windy. But I'm going to check out what the low tide had to bring in. And then I'll do the upper rack lines on my way back. There are definitely people out shelling right now, so I'm not sure what I'm going to find. But I might have to put on my shelling shoes. Ooh. Broken olives. Broken shark eyes. All kinds of fun stuff. What I notice right away are the size of these shells. Look at these cockle shells. They're so pretty. Love these. I'm gonna collect some of these today. I just think the colors are amazing. Oh, the shells. Woo. These beautiful black scallops. That one's a little banged up. Here's part of a Scotch bonnet. Check it out. Look at, that's what I'm looking for. there. Alright, this is broken, but you guys gotta see this. Look at this. This is a woman snail. Look at how messy that thing would have been. So I just found a pretty special tree here, I think. See it? I think it's a lion's paw. It's a little bit broken. There it is. Lion's paw. Didn't know I could find one out here. There's so much on it. There's so many. I love these. These black ones. There's so many shells. Look at them all. Woo. What do we see? There's olive here. Oh, broken. This gorgeous beach. Got a little crab over here. Hey, little birds. Unfortunately, the birds are stabbing at the crabs that are now exposed. Sorry, little crabbies. Buddy, gotta dig in. There you go. Dig on in there before the birds get you. Mean birds. It's a dog-eat-dog world. It's quartz. I wasn't noticing a quartz before. Noticed this quartz before. Really get low. see the treasures. The little baby's ear. So sweet. A little slipper snail. All these little sweet minis. It's after. But got a nice olive. Or a moon snail. It's got to roll back a little bit more. Hold on, guys. Do you see these? Broken. Beauty. Our new friends from Emerald Isle gave us a few tips on other things to do in the area. Since we were there for 2 weeks, we had lots of time. They suggested visiting the cute town of Beaufort. It is a sweet, quaint town on the water, and they also told us to look while we were there for the old burying ground. I do love old cemeteries, and my husband puts up with all my crazy ideas. The burying grounds hold stories that date back over 300 years. There are unmarked graves, graves of soldiers, Native Americans, and even a child who died at sea and was buried in a keg of rum. Her gravesite was covered in mementos and small toys. The cool thing is you can download an app called Uniguide, and you can listen to an audio tour on your smartphone as you look around. The guide is also useful in cities all over the U.S.
The Confederate flag was raised in place of the national colors. Confederate forces held the fort for a year.
Fort Macon is located at the eastern tip of Bogbanks Island in Atlantic Beach. In addition to the fort, the location is great for fishing, swimming, and hiking. There is a really beautiful beach there that we took a little hike on. Fort Macon was constructed in 1826 and took 8 years to build. It was named after the eminent statesman of the period, Nathaniel Macon. The fort was used during both the Civil War and the Spanish-American War. It was not used at all during World War I and was completely abandoned in 1903. In 1924, it was given to the state of North Carolina to be used as a public park. Ryan and I really enjoy visiting historical forts, and having a son in the Navy and a son-in-law who is former Air Force, we like to pay our respects to those who fought for our country. Here's another real-time show and tell. I realized that I didn't do a video on the shells that I took home from Emerald Isle, and in Emerald Isle, as I said in the video, is this kind of the southernmost part of the Outer Banks, and we absolutely loved it there. I'm sure we will go back there in the future. It was just wonderful there, and I did get a lot of shells, and I brought home a lot of shells. I even brought home this time some broken shells because I'm thinking I'm gonna probably do some craft projects. So this whole bin here is from Emerald Isle, and again, I brought home some broken shells. I'm in the process of sorting my shells right now, and I'm doing a video on that a little bit later. I'm actually filming a video on sorting my shells currently, and realized that I didn't film this because I think we just had to leave. We ended up leaving in quicker than we thought. So I'm sorting these right now, and the thing that I loved about the Emerald Isle shells, one was the size. They were just enormous, and another thing that I loved was the colors. They had so many beautiful, I mean, this is just a cockle shell, but I just love the colors, and I'm probably going to end up acid dipping a lot of these to bring out the colors, because when these are wet, they're just absolutely gorgeous. And the shells there are just huge. The olives are huge, and I just thought these would be really cool in some craft projects. And look at these cockles. And you saw me picking up some of these in the video, but just the colors are absolutely beautiful. I couldn't get enough of the colors. There's definitely some nice olives that I found, and all kinds of scallops, which I love. I just reviewed the video, and this was out of screen. So I was talking about a really special shell that I found, and this is a lion's paw. And other than just this little tip right here being broken off, it's in perfect condition. It's black. It's really cool. I've only found one before in Florida, and it was multicolored. It was really beautiful, but this one is super cool. It's in really good shape other than that little tip being broken, so I was happy about that. And then I found a lot of these little sweeties. I love baby's ears, as you know if you've watched my videos. I love baby's ears, and this is kind of a cool limpet, and more baby's ears, a little bit of sea glass. This is kind of a different one. If you know what that is, I don't know what this is. So those are all the cute little sweeties, and I'm just thrilled with the shells that I found down there. This was just by itself, and a bunch of people had walked by, so I don't know if they thought that it was more broken than it was. It is a little bit dinged up, but I love it. I think it's beautiful. Another thing that was really giant there were the slipper snails. Oh, look at the size of those slipper snails. Oh my gosh. One thing that frustrated me to no end, which I talk about, is how many Scotch bonnets I found that were broken. So many broken Scotch bonnets. I did find one that was decent. I'm not sure where it is in this whole mess. It might be in a separate bin, but I did find one that was almost whole. I put that in a safe place. Yeah, so thanks for watching, and please subscribe if you haven't done that already, and give me a thumbs up. And I'll see you on the beach somewhere.